Welcome back to Studio 4. Joining us now is our good friend Mackenzie Lockhart from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. She's here to talk about the Hike for Hope event coming up this weekend. Mackenzie, thanks for coming in.
Always, thanks for always having me.
And this weekend, we're going to have the Construction Hike for Hope event. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So the logistics are that it's happening on Sunday, June 14th, down at Palo Duro Canyon over at the amphitheater, the Pioneer Amphitheater. And check-in starts at 9:30. And then the opening ceremonies, if you will, starts at 10, and then we'll get kicked off on the hike at 10:30.
Sounds awesome. And what is the goal behind this event? Why is it so important?
Yeah, so it's called the Construction Hike for Hope, and really what it is to bring awareness to the construction field. Unfortunately, that trade and that field has a pretty high suicide rate, and so this is just an area that we as AFSP want to help bring awareness to help and prevent some of those suicides.
And also, I feel like this is also a great time to have an event that brings awareness because June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're right. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think there are more like amazing women that are getting involved in this field. However, it still is very much saturated with males, and so being able to kind of come alongside, and highlight both of those things at once, I think is really cool to be able to do that. And this is something I'm passionate about suicide prevention as a whole, but my husband and I have other family members who work in this field, and I'm sure all of us do here in the community have someone in our lives that works in the field of construction in some way or another, and so being able to just bring that awareness and whatnot, and I think is really important.
That is very good. And I did notice whenever I was looking into the statistics, so the construction industry has one of the highest suicide rates. Why is that? What are the factors?
Well, I think the fact that it is saturated highly with men. Unfortunately, men just have a higher suicide rate than women do, typically because they choose more lethal means to take their lives. And so that's one component. But I think, I was thinking about this the other day too, of, this field, they're also, this is a field where they are working from sun up to sundown often. And what times do people usually have therapy or doctor's appointments? During those times. And so it's hard for them, I'm sure, to get to some of those things. But I love that we have multiple organizations and different companies locally that are going to be coming out to support things at the Hike for Hope, which I just love, because they're telling their employees, hey, we care about you not just as employees, but we care about your mental health too.
That is awesome. And we don't need to be we don't need to be construction workers or anything to attend this event, is that right?
Oh, no, I'm not a construction worker and I'm going to be there. So it's going to be great. It's family oriented. So come on out. It's going to be a really good time. And it's in the beautiful canyon, which is really great. We're very blessed to be able to even have that as that option for us here in this community.
Of course, and it's going to happen during the morning too, so it won't be as hot, as it would be in the afternoon.
That's the goal, yes.
And let's say we want to help out and volunteer. How can we do that?
Yeah, check us out at afsp.org. /West Texas. That's always a good place to start because there are a lot of great opportunities. We have our Out of Darkness Walk coming up in October. You and we've talked before about public policy advocacy, so there's a lot of ways for people to get involved with AFSP in different ways.
Well, Mackenzie, thank you so much for coming in and just, shedding a light on this topic and also on this wonderful event happening at Palo Duro Canyon.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Of course. Stay with us. We have more Studio 4 coming up after the break.